Karl Stefanovic has been sensationally fired by Channel 9, according to sources, and Nine is refusing to deny the story when I put the claim to them directly. While he was never expected to make it into the new year, the sudden axing comes after the TV host made headlines for his interview on his YouTube show with far-right British extremist Tommy Robinson. The interview suddenly disappeared from Stefanovic's feeds overnight, apparently after Nine confronted Karl about the interview. Now, whether he took it down voluntarily or as ordered is not yet clear, but the Australian is reporting he took it down himself. One Nation leader, Pauline Hanson, has re-uploaded the interview on her YouTube page with a caption saying, "It looks like they're trying to sack my good friend Karl Stefanovic for this video with Tommy Robinson. Have Channel 9 become as bad as the ABC?" The Karl Stefanovic show is a completely independent production, a Nine spokesperson told the AFR when the story made headlines this morning. Nine has no involvement, including in the guest selection and other editorial processes. However, Nine is taking this matter seriously. And it's worth noting that when I asked Nine about Karl's sacking, they pointed me back to that statement, again, refusing to be drawn on his sacking. Of all the interviews Karl has done, this seems to be the one that has broken the camel's back. But the Australian reports Karl might be happy to walk away from the network he's called home from decades. Well-placed insiders at Nine have told the Australian repeatedly in recent weeks that they believe that Stefanovic's provocative podcast content is a deliberate strategy to alienate his bosses at the TV network in the hope they might agree to pay out the remaining 6 months of his contract, the equivalent of about $1 million. Stefanovic is effectively daring Nine to sack him. People within Nine have told me that they'll be happy when he goes, now that he has gone, as they don't like being associated with his views. And I have reached out to Karl directly about the reports circulating that he has been sacked and to find out why the video was taken down. Even though it's 9:30, 10 o'clock in the UK, he has not responded to my text. That's in the morning. But it's not just disgruntled co-workers and Nine's top brass Karl has to worry about. He's now in the sights of the mad effing witches. In a post on social media, the group says, "Thanks to our tweet about Karl Stefanovic yesterday, witches, our information is Channel 9 now appear to have demanded he take down his podcast interview yesterday with UK fascist arsehole Tommy Robinson. That's how scared 9 are of our potential witchy campaign. They know Stefanovic is turning into, or is at least now willing to display, his hateful views to all, but don't want their breakfast show advertisers targeted. Well, they should have fucking thought of that earlier. And Nine should be well aware them taking Karl's podcast down won't stop us. In fact, it makes us even angrier. They seem to think we're so easily fooled and silenced. The truth is now we're even more determined to run such a campaign on Stefanovic, tentatively titled Cancel Karl, and we badly need your help if you want us to do so." Well, after their success of targeting sponsors of the Kyle and Jackie O show, this will certainly put pressure on Nine, and seems, you would imagine, to have played a role. While the Today Show doesn't rate anywhere near as well as Sunrise, it still generates a lot of revenue for the company, and an advertiser boycott would certainly hurt Nine's bottom line. But should Nine be forced to face consequences for the actions of its star, now former star, on a different platform? Isn't that his right in a democracy? Of course, depending on what his contract says. And look, it's unclear how successful the group would be targeting YouTube if they decided to go after Karl on his new platform, now that they've got no reason to go with Nine, which they will claim as another win. Outside of the in-show sponsors on the Karl Stefanovic show, it's pretty random what ads appear on the videos on the platform. So targeting individual advertisers would be difficult. They wouldn't be able to do it the same way they do with broadcast television. Now, for what it's worth, I like Karl. I think he's a great interviewer. I was part of the campaign to get him put back on the Today Show when he was sacked and Georgie Gardner and Deb Knight were put in. But he hasn't shown his skills to his best advantage in those interviews for his YouTube channel. And I certainly don't subscribe to the theory that you can only speak to certain people. All this talk of platforming controversial people is a bit of a wank in my opinion. The biggest problem with an interview like the one Karl has done with Tommy Robinson is the lack of critical questions and challenging his views. In fact, in the 54-minute interview Karl uploaded and took offline, Karl only spoke for a grand total of 4 minutes and 39 seconds. And guess what? I'm going to show you every moment Karl spoke in that interview so you can see exactly what he said, because it doesn't paint him in a great light. He's better than this, but this is everything Karl said in that interview.
I'm surprised you're not dead yet. You have tested, I know you're not.
No, I'm not joking.
You have tested the boundaries. I feel like it's got, even harder for you in some ways, but also your message is finally getting out there. Is that correct? At some point you decided to make a stand. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Because, Tommy Robinson isn't your name.
Nope.
So explain that to everyone in Australia. How do you say it? Luton bottle. Luton bottle. We picked something up from you for the show, actually, on X. A guy who had raped a woman, and over here in this side of the world, in your country, these the rape inquiry is completely and utterly shocked me to my core, and I don't understand why it's not a national crisis. I don't know why government isn't moving heaven and earth to eradicate the issue. So on that point, they tried to shut you up. You did a bit of time in the big house. You came out and you re-engage. Are you inspired to come out of prison and keep going? Get it
because you're all becoming women. So get some testosterone in you.
So somebody had organised that hit in the prison. So Tommy, they came down pretty hard on you, and they want to eliminate your voice. Do you think, some of that messaging around, and some of the violence on the streets that came as a result of, the meetings and the protests being organised, do you think that somehow took away from your
it did.
attempt?
Yeah,
I've got 2 daughters. Keep going. And that's the point, Tommy, because I think that you have such a clear voice and you articulate what people are feeling out there, and they want that voice. And
discredits it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't plan anything.
This is not my judgment.
No, I know it was.
Yeah. No, and skip forward to even 1,000 victims.
Yeah, 5 are dead.
Declared it. Yeah. I think she wanted £3,000, and we just can't afford it.
Did she? Okay.
So do you think now where things are at, you mentioned the by-election, Andy Burnham, it looks like he's, sitting pretty to be
Labour leader.
The next Labour leader. Reform is still behind, but they were more engaged with Nigel Farage. How is the right going to take power over the next 3 years? Do you need political change? So the
solution is politics.
How do you convert the vibe and energy and those 5 key points and values into representation? So what do you want to do? Well, why not? Because this is a great country, and it's just so lost. Probably been a while. No, I think this is why you're so fascinating, because you sit outside of the established parties and the established movements. Even if reformers come, as restorers come from reform, you're further up, but there's no one actually driving working class agendas in this country. Why do you think that he's created that enemy status with you? Threat because you're a threat? Yeah. But this is literally happening in Australia with the One Nation Party. And
I love her, Pauline.
Yeah. Do you know Pauline? And then when you hear main political parties now talking and using some of her policy, and actually they're catching fire in the electorate. Tommy, what is to come then for this great country in the next, with the new Prime Minister? We're not sure who it's going to be, maybe Andy Burnham. But what do you think of him? Was that 3 years ago? So he's a move further to the left. You got one word for him? Don't give my secrets away. So 3 people get your photo. I see on Sky News, UK Sky News, important difference, that he's a threat to society, Elon Musk. God, I love you.
Can you get some from your phone?
Oh my God, you have lined him up. Tommy, I wonder what it's like to live inside your head. The security guy.
No,
but you are fighting a fight that you believe in so much to your core. Wow. Did your son ever say to your dad, I hope you're not getting out early? I'm liking the break. Man, it's full on out here.
It's full of...
Listen, before we go, because I do have to let you go, and I know you're conscious of all of that. It's great to speak with you in person. I really do admire your tenacity and the courage that you're showing in trying to stand up for what you believe is right and to hear your voice. So what is your message? I mean, I started this interview by saying I can't believe you're alive. You know they're going to keep coming at you. What's your message? Good to talk with you, Tommy.
Nice one. Thanks.
Yeah. you can see why Karl has come under criticism for that interview. It wasn't an interview, it was a TED talk by Tommy Robinson. He was given a platform and not challenged at all. And I'm not saying that you can't interview someone you admire, even if Karl holds those views, but he needs to challenge him on some of the facts and things that he's doing. I speak to people I admire and like all the time. I still challenge them. And look, I will never have the fame, the money, the success that Karl Stefanovic has. So who am I to judge that that interview wasn't any good? And now Karl is going to have to decide what he wants to do with his future. Now, obviously, he's been going down this path. It's going to be interesting to see whether Nine just pay him out. The reason Nine aren't issuing a formal statement at the moment, and I'm keeping an eye on it, and I will bring it to you the moment one is released, if indeed one is released while we are streaming from our garage on the Gold Coast. I will tell you that they will be deciding whether they pay him out. So reports are that he's owed $1 million for the final 6 months of his contract. Do they just pay it out, wipe it off, or do they try to fight it, which will only lead to court cases? Did Karl bring the company into disrepute? That's going to be one of the questions. Do they have cause for firing him? Maybe they do. But as a host of the Today Show, he's allowed to interview whoever they put up for him. So is he not allowed to interview Tommy Robinson? And he didn't say anything offensive in the interview. He just didn't challenge the interview. We've seen Karl do 60-minute interviews where he's in there. And I'm not saying it needed to be combative, but that was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Karl leaving, or Karl being sacked from the Today Show, it's a huge loss for Nine. And there were reports that he wanted to go out this way. There were reports that he wanted to go out in a way that just got him paid off. But he's not going to have the goodbye now. There's not going to be the montage of Carlos moments. And so I think both Nine and him lose out the way this is going down. He's due back in he was off for 2 weeks. So Monday week, he's due back. Well, he won't be coming back. There won't be a farewell. Like Lisa Wilkinson, we'll just learn about it in the media. And we wonder why Sunrise is so far ahead of Today in the ratings. Sunrise knows how to orchestrate a goodbye. Koshi, Mel, Sam, they're all given the big free-flowing goodbyes. They've never had any of this controversy. They've never ended with someone being fired at the last minute. Do Nine not value their people? Is there no loyalty for all the years of service? It's like Carl Sandilands, Jackie O. No goodbye, no farewell, no thank you for everything you've done for this station. Whether you like Karl or not, he has energized the Today Show. He has been a major star for Nine. He has gone and reported from places all around the world. I'm not here celebrating his loss. I think it's a huge loss for Channel 9. I'm sad for him. I'm sad for them. And I'm sad for viewers. Maybe the Today Show will try something very different because they need to. They're nowhere near close to getting close to Sunrise. But in the meantime, I'll keep you updated. Oh, sorry, I just saw a note. Stop backing up 7, Rob. This guy works for Channel 7, guys. No, I don't. I haven't worked for 7 for over a year, and I always declare who I work for. I've had a good relationship with 9. This isn't about networks. This is about people getting sacked and what it means from an industry point of view. Don't be so narrow-minded. If anything, my views keep me from working in the industry because I'm too open with them. So that is just pure nonsense. And we will bring it up again in our live feedback. I want your feedback. Just go to youtube.com/@McKnight Tonight. Share your feedback. I'll read out the good and bad ones. But you know what? I think this is sad. The best place to watch McKnight Tonight is on YouTube. Help us monetize the show by going to youtube.com/@McKnight Tonight. And you can always become a paid member. That gives you exclusive live streams and early access to videos. Just go to youtube.com/@McKnight Tonight.
Here comes McKnight Tonight.